and show you how to learn straight from his recordings. Brad's been doing this for decades, with around 50 years of real-world experience producing major artists, including legends like Whitesnake and Anita Baker. He's also earned 24 platinum records along the way, so this isn't theory. This is the kind of insight you only get from being in the room when great voices get built. And here's the big idea we're focusing on today: artistry isn't just mechanics. It's not only breath support, vowels, and range. Those tools matter, sure. But what separates a singer who simply sounds impressive from a singer who actually moves people is absorption. It's how you take in emotion, groove, and intention, and then let it come out through your voice in a way that feels natural and believable. So if you're tired of sounding stiff, tired of feeling like your vocals are accurate but empty, and you're ready to stop singing like a robot and start singing with real feel, put a "yes" in the chat right now. Let's get to work.
Okay, everybody, listen, have you ever tried to cover an Ella Langley song or any contemporary song? You know, you work on it, you hit every note single perfectly and every great pitch and tone, and yet when you listen back, it kind of sounds wrong. I don't know why, but it sounds boring. You know, I remember it sounds great to me. Whenever I do that myself, I listen back and say, that sounds great. But, you know, we can verify, hey, it was on pitch, it's on rhythm. So, you know, it kind of feels like we're reading from a phone book when we go back and hear it to ourselves. So the thing is you and I, we're not alone. This is the single biggest frustration I see in singers today, whether it be my students or whether I see a performer or, you know, somebody busking or whatever, where we're obsessed with correctness. And YouTube has been a major factor in this. So many voice teachers are out there telling you should be perfectly on pitch and perfectly on tone. So once we do that and then we hear it back, we don't know what to do. You know, we're kind of stuck. So I've developed this whole concept to help you with that. Because when we listen to a track like Choosing Texas, which is what we're going to do today, you saw her picture when we opened up, we're hearing something that goes far beyond correctness. I mean, it's a feeling. How do you really explain that? Well, I'm going to help you. We're hearing a very specific, frustrated, we're listening, and sad atmosphere. When you listen to the lyrics, you'll understand. So most vocal coaches will tell you, and I might as well, to practice your scales, you know, get your basics, tell you work on your breath control, but when you use microphones, be careful with that. If you support the breath too much, in other words, if you sing too full and too rich, sounds corny, so be careful there. And those things are important, but they won't help you sing Choosing Texas. They won't help you with what Ella's doing, or most other contemporary songs and singers. Because the magic of this song isn't in the technique. It's in the absorption of that great thing we all know about emotion. So today we're going to try something different. We're going to stop analyzing. We're going to stop analyzing, and we're going to start absorbing, because we can't intellectualize what she's doing, and I'll make that very clear. We're going to use two simple tools, Melodyne and Audacity, not to be engineers, but to be mirrors. We're going to look at the rhythm you can't hear. We're going to learn a technique called perfect unison. That's the absorption. That will change the way you practice forever, for the better. I'm going to show you how to stop singing at the sound and start singing inside the song. By the end of this session, you won't only just know how to learn to sing like Ella and Choosing Texas. You'll know how to borrow the soul, learn from, of any artist you admire, and filter that through your own voice. So this is about moving from being a technician to being an artist. Let me show you how right now. Okay, so let's bring her back up on the stage and remind you who she is. And then we're going to play the section of the song that we're going to be evaluating today. We just take one section at a time. We're not going to do the whole song. That's just way too much information. It would take way too long. So just listen to the part of the song that we're going to be looking at and working on, and kind of memorize it. Like, what does she sound like? Because we're going to be showing you some other things, and I want you to be able to compare it in your mind. Here we go.
She's from Texas, I can tell by the way he's two-stepping around the room. Judging by the smile that's written on his face.
Okay, so we've taken one phrase, and that's really what we're going to look at and work on today. I'm going to bring Tony up on the stage now. He is my co-guest, co-host, fun guy to rap with guy. So if you don't get anything else out of the show, you'll just get a little bit of entertainment from us kind of goofing off. But the main reason we're here is so Tony can help demonstrate how you would use my vocal muse system and read my Sing from Feel book and get this whole concept down so that you can buy these things and have a demonstration is kind of how it works. The projects are very clear as to how they work, but we're doing YouTube, so what the heck. So the first thing we're going to look at is, okay, so let's say that we go to sheet music for this song, and we go to a pianist and we want the pianist to play the notes and so we can learn the song. Well, there's a problem with that, and I'm going to bring it up on the stage so you can see. This is sheet music, and the issue with this is it's perfect pitch and perfect rhythm. Here's the notes. It doesn't matter whether you read music or not, because I'm going to play this. I'm going to have this sheet music play, perfect pitch and perfect rhythm, and immediately, if you think about it, remember how I asked you to listen to Ella? Now listen to the piano and hear the difference between the two. Play a little bit more just so you could really get that. This is our funnest part. We get to laugh at this. So I'm going to play it one more time. Remember, if you learned it to sing it exactly this way, would you sound anything like a country singer, or would you sound anything like Ella? Okay, so that's really obvious. If you, yeah, that's why we're laughing. Tony and I have done enough live performance to know what would happen if we sang it like that. Like, whoops. But what makes this so clear is that these are the rules that these people are telling us that we have to follow: perfect pitch and perfect rhythm. So I used to tell people that as well. I mean, not specifically, but when all we had was pianists, we didn't have all this great technology, and I was teaching people technique. This is all we could do. But, this is the 21st century, and it's time to move on. Okay. So what are Ella's rules? Well, we're going to take a look with Audacity. I get those backwards. Melodyne. And it's going to show you what her rules are, because when you hear what she's doing, the tendency is to think, well, it must be perfect pitch and perfect rhythm because that's what people are talking about. But Melodyne is something that's going to show us what Ella's rules are and what singers like her are doing, and many of the singers that we've already looked at in the previous shows. You're going to see that pitch is not perfect and that rhythm is not perfect. Now, it's perfect for Ella. You could look at it that way. It's perfect for contemporary Western country. Well, leave Western out of it. Contemporary country music, because this thing's on the top 10 of Billboard, which is considered pop, right? So these singers are bringing in kind of the old school again, and this is a live performance. And let me bring it up so you can see it. This is just her voice alone, the live performance that we just heard. So this is pretty much unedited, I believe. So we're seeing how Ella really sings, and we're not going to edit this. We're just going to look at it and evaluate. Now, let me explain a little bit. These orange blobs are her voice. These are the actual pitches. There's more to it. There's a format and so forth than just pitch, but we're going to mostly look just pitch and rhythm, because we could get way too into this and you go, I don't want to know anything about that. So we're just going to myth bust. We're going to say, hey, if you want to learn to sing like Ella and great singers of her peers, you need to learn this. And this is not going to teach you. This is just going to help you open your mind to what you really need to know. Now, these square spaces here represent rhythm. So from the beginning to the end of the square is an eighth note. Now, you can see here she came in early. And the pitch is pretty close on. The pitch is from top to bottom inside the square. But I'm going to show you exactly what the pitch is. So when I click on this, it says it's 14 cents flat. So this is in a flat key. I believe it's in A flat. And so this is a G flat 3. and it's a little bit flat. So it's not perfect pitch, it's not perfect rhythm, and we won't go through all of these, but here's one that's quite flat, almost 20% flat. And again, the rhythm, she comes in the middle of the 8th note and ends in almost to the 8th note, but again, not quite. Here she's early, and look at that pitch, 30% flat. Look at this one, 15% flat. And the rhythms, again, this one's on. So she does have some pitches here that are perfectly on, like this one here. It's only 2 cents sharp. That's really good in that world of perfect pitch and perfect rhythm. But it's erratic. This is what I'm talking about. This is sharp right here. Oh, country singer sharp? Well, yeah. When she's running through this riff and she's feeling it, she's just loving her music and doing her thing. Yeah, you're going to hit some sharp notes. It's okay. This vibrato right here is kind of erratic. But that's all right. These little lines right here that you see coming through there is her vibrato. And it's kind of, it's not like my teacher told me 6 times per second has to be. It has to be, evenly and smooth. That's classical. We're talking about country and pop. And this here is early. I love this part right here. Now, these are not actual pitches because she's kind of talking through it. So right here, these 2 notes, as I play it again, you'll hear her in more of a speech pattern than an actual singing pattern. And that's one of the reasons I picked this. I love this part because it's live.
Judging by the smile that's written
right here.
on his face.
That's what we're going to be learning because it's so cool. And there's a part in the actual recording that we're going to look at where she actually hits an offbeat with a little grunt. We love those, right? Because this is live. We're seeing who she is, and we're learning from who she is, and we're loving who she is. I'm not here to put anybody down. I'm here to build her up. If anybody says, well, maybe you shouldn't be doing this, well, hey, I'm helping Ella's career. I'm not copying it. I'm not stealing it. I'm helping it. All right, so, that's enough with all that, right? So what we want to do now is learn. And the best product for that is called Audacity, as I mentioned earlier. So I'm going to pull that up on the stage. I'll get rid of a Melodyne here. I get to be the producer and the teacher at the same time. All right, here we go.
Got your hands full.
I got a mouse moving here real quick. I'm running, as they say, I'm running as fast as I can. Because, I don't want you all to get bored, right? So, all right, here is Audacity. And this is a DAW. You may have seen things like this before. These are waveforms. We won't get into all that. But it's a player, and it allows us to do a couple of beautiful things. One of the things we want to do is that this is a man singing a woman's song. Tony's going to learn a woman's song. So should we keep the same key? No, we should not, because even though he could sing, and he's a tenor, he could hit the A flat. He could do it, but then the energy would be too high. It would have the wrong feel to it. If he goes an octave down, the energy's too low. He's not going to get the feeling there. So generally speaking, she's singing an A flat, then E flat is perfect for him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notes down, kind of makes it almost like they're in the same area, the same world, the way their voices work. So I'm going to do that first. Let me just play again what we're doing here, just to keep you all interested.
She's from Texas, I can tell by the way he's two-stepping around the room.
This is the part we're going to learn right here.
Judging by the smile that's written on his face.
Right? So that is just that much is going to be so exciting. You say, oh, that wasn't very much. Well, wait till we get into it. You'll know. There's plenty here. All right? So let's change the key for Tony first, because I know his voice. I've already picked one. And we're going to go down 5 semitones. So her top pitch was an A flat, which actually she hit a couple of sharp ones and a couple of flat ones. So it's going to be Tony's E flat. Now, in the world of vocal technique, which I don't really get into with this, A flat for a woman is considered the bridge or the entrance to head voice. And E flat for the men is considered the entrance to head voice. So it kind of puts us in the same territory. But you should always play with this. If you're going to use my Vocal Muse system, which is a video we'll talk about later that you can buy, then you should play with this. Find out what works best for you so that you're technically good, so that you're not fighting with the key and fighting with trying to learn Ella when you're straining and stuff like that. You should have a private voice teacher if you've got any technical problems, not videos, not anyway, we won't go into because I get on a soapbox. But, you need a private coach if you want technique. So leave it at that. All right, so I'm going to preview it. It's a smart thing to do with computers. All right, now L is a tenor. Pretty cool stuff, huh? Saves us a lot of time. Now I'm going to apply it because we like it. We've decided we like it. Now I'm going to let Tony hear it twice in this new key to kind of get so he can get into the feel of it. Now, Tony, the first part, like I briefly mentioned, up to actually you'll hear that little that she does, and then right after that is the phrase that you're actually working on.
Okay.
So the first phrase is for the introduction, and this is really important, everyone, because if you start without an introduction, you're coming in without any rhythm, without any pitch, and you're like, oh, what is that? What am I supposed to be doing, right? So you need to be hearing what's coming before you get there. So I'm going to leave it at the original tempo just so Tony can get into the key. Here we go.
She's from Texas, I can tell by the way he's two-stepping around the room, judging by the smile that's written on his face.
Yeah, and we're going to play it again.
She's from Texas, I can tell by the way he's two-stepping around the room.
So much emotion.
Judging by the smile that's written on his face.
Okay. So that, now what I want you to do, Tony, is demonstrate for us what we all do that is not working so well. This is putting poor Tony on the spot here. Just sing along with that as if, you just wanted to learn it and nobody's really taught you how. You're just playing it and singing along. Okay. Would you do that for us?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, here you go. Thanks. You can put the up there if you want.
She's from Texas, I can tell by the way he's two-stepping around the room, judging by the smile that's written on his face.
Okay, could you be a little louder?
Yeah, sure.
Again? Okay. Or you want me to turn her down?
No, I'm okay. I'll make my adjustment over here. Thank you.
We're in the studio, guys, so all is fair. Here we go.
She's from Texas, I can tell by the way he's two-stepping around the room, judging by the smile that's written on his face.
Right. Okay. So, hey, don't say, "Hey, Tony didn't get it right." You didn't. When you guys do that, you don't get it right either. I didn't get it right when I was doing it. What happens is that you're singing along with someone, and you're trying to judge what are they doing and what am I doing is too much information, and you can't get with her with that type of learning. Just singing along is not going to cut it. So there's two things we're going to do. We're going to learn to listen. I talked a little bit about that earlier in the show. Listening creates absorption. Because of the erratic nature of these singers, like we showed you with Melodyne, pushing and pulling beats, sharp and flat notes, how are we going to intellectualize what she's doing? We can't. So we have to learn by ear, and that is today's music. Most great artists and singers and musicians have to learn at least something by ear, or they can't play it. Sheet music, like you saw there, just does not cut it. And even though some of the great writers will try to put in all the little, the words and the little eighth notes and so forth, 16th, the 128th notes, to try to help the reader see what it's going to sound like, it never sounds right. All you have to do is ask the jazz department at most universities, and they'll tell you the classical people cannot play jazz when it's written. They have to absorb jazz before they can get the feel of it. It's not something you can write. So that's not really going to work too well. So how are we going to speed this process up? Because maybe we're already 20 or 80 or 70 or 105. I'm trying to cover everybody. And you've been singing it the wrong way, and you've been doing okay. You've gotten gigs and so forth, but you're getting polite applause. You're not getting standing ovations. You're not connecting with people, but hey, you did sing and you did your thing. Well, we need to learn from Ella at a much deeper level. So we've changed the key to make sure it's comfortable for Tony. Now we're going to change the tempo so that we can hear exactly what's going on. So this box right here allows me to go minus 30%. I think that's going to be enough. I've played a little bit with this. I'm going to preview it like you should always do with Audacity.
She's from Texas, I can tell by the way.
Okay, now we're going to apply it so that we can actually work on it. Also, there's a nice feature here called loop. So these little triangles, I call them, or bookmarks, shows where the beginning and the end of this loop is. Here's the most important part, as I've already explained a couple of times. We need to listen first. So we're not going to listen 20 or 30 times like Tony would at home when he's doing his homework. We're going to maybe 3 or 4 times just to give him a feel of what's going on and let him learn from that and then get his feedback along with mine. And then we'll work on the actual unison, try to get it as close as we can, but we won't get it perfectly right because that's not today's show. This is just a demonstration. If you buy the product, you have it at home, then you can do this and read the book, and then you'll talk about all the emotions, which we'll be getting into very soon here. All right, so Tony's going to listen 2 or 3 times. I'll be listening as well, and we're going to try to pick up the magic. We're trying to pick up the things that make Ella sing and makes it so we love it. And we're going to be listening for emotions as well. Here we go.
See, from time to time can tell by the way he's just stepping around the room, judging by the smile that's written on his face. See, from time to time can tell by the way he's just stepping around the room, judging by the smile that's written on his face. See, from time to time can tell by the way he's just stepping around the room, judging by the smile that's written on his face. See, from time to time can tell by the way he's just stepping around the room, judging by the smile that's written on his face.
Okay, so there is so much information in there that it's hard to even talk about it. But a couple of things. Country singers and most pop singers do not have perfect diction. So you're going to notice that you can understand the words, but it's not like the musical theater. Smile on her face, right? That works with musical theater because your audience is 200 feet away. There's no PA system. So if you don't over-pronunciate, then people don't get the story. So I love that. That's perfect. But on microphones, it sounds overbearing. It's too much. It's like putting a camera on somebody who's wearing stage makeup and they look like a clown because they've got all these incredible bright colors and so forth. But 300 feet away, they look perfectly normal. So the microphone's like the camera in that situation. If you're going to put a camera on an actor, then you've got to change the makeup, right, so that it fits with the camera. It's just 2 different worlds. That's all we're talking about. All right, so the things I really wanted you to focus on today, Tony, is how she says, you have face.
Right.
Okay, because that's something she does live she doesn't do on the album. So we want to pick up those things. And then even though that little is before the phrase we're going to talk about, I think it's really important to notice that. It's on the offbeat. So it kind of has that, right? It's a really cool feel. Mm-hmm. And of course, we always notice with these singers, we noticed on Melodyne, they kind of slur around the beat. Right? So that's very important, and we hear that a lot. We hear the pickup. We saw that on Melodyne, the octave pickup. Very, very common in the style of music and others. So we're learning so much by just looking at this one little phrase. What did you notice, Tony? What popped out for you?
Right away, the thing that stood out was her vibrato.
Oh, okay.
Her vibrato to me, I picked up really quickly, and you know, it's funny how it's not perfectly, you know,
even.
Yeah, it's not the way you explained it before. So I picked that up, and a little bit of her, you know, that country phrasing with the almost like the little drawl and the doubling, the flip going on. Mm-hmm. So that stood out a lot to me, and the breath and face stood out.
Yeah. Your face. If you listen very closely, your has a little bit of voice, and then face is almost completely whispered. So it's not your face. It's like your face, right? And again, she may not even have known she did this, you know, unless she went back and looked at it like we're doing, which probably she wouldn't. She would Most singers don't really want to know. They just want to get up there and express their emotions and hope you love it. That's kind of the artist way, is you just do what you do. If you want to learn the artist way, watch Rick Rubin stuff. He talks great, and he's a great record producer. I wanted to mention this in this show. Record producers that I've hung with for years, as being a Grammy member, have told me many, many times, if a singer comes into the studio and they do things everything perfect, they go, well, okay, that's great, but there's no emotion here, so we have nothing to sell. They would rather have somebody come in, be erratic, not technically great, with great emotion, and then if they want to use Melodyne, etc., to change it so that maybe it's a little bit more correct, based on pitch and rhythm, depending on who the mixer is, they can do that. But if there's no emotion, they can't put that in there. Now, I'm sure they're working on it with AI, but at this point, they can't put emotion into a singer's performance. We've got to do it. We've got to feel it in our own heart. We've got to sing from feel. We've got to feel it, then sing it. And you can hear that in her voice. It's her emotions that are creating these things, other than her listening to her favorite singers. I think she mentioned Loretta Lynn actually covered this. This is actually an old classic, yeah, but it's right on the top 10. I think it's number 1 or something like that. So country is making a move in pop, and I think we need to know about that. I think we need to know, what are they doing? We can get our heads stuck in rhythm and blues and say, well, that doesn't exist, we don't care, but your audience cares. So if you can learn something from this and then apply it to your rhythm and blues, all the better, right? Because the way they're mixing genres right now, you don't even know what genre anybody's in anymore. Okay, those are the main things that I noticed, yeah. The erratic vibrato, the swooping in and out. There is a little riff in there. So it's not very long. But did you catch that?
I did.
Okay, excellent. All right, so we've talked now, so he's lost a little bit of memory. So I'm going to play it once, we're going to play it 2 more times, and then he's going to start singing. So this is how you practice, is what Tony's demonstrating for us here.
She's from Texas, I can tell by the way he's just stepping around the room. Judging by the smile that's written on his face. She's from Texas, I can tell by the way he's just stepping around the room. Judging by the smile that's written on his face. She's from Texas, I can tell by the way he's just stepping around the room. Judging by the smile that's written on his face.
Okay, go ahead and sing this time, Tony.
Texas, I can tell by the way he's just stepping around the room. Judging by the smile that's written on his face. She's from Texas, I can tell by the way he's just stepping around the room.
That's a lot better.
Judging by the smile that's written on his face. She's from Texas, I can tell by the way he's just stepping around the room. Judging by the smile that's written on his face. She's from Texas, I can tell by the way he's just stepping around the room. Judging by the smile that's written on his face.
Yeah, so that's coming together. Now, this is a big part of the learning, but we're going to go to another level, because when we're singing along with someone, even after we've heard several takes, we're still kind of like, okay, am I matching? Did I get that rhythm right? Did I get that pitch right? Too much going on. So we need to sit back and just listen, again, to ourselves in unison with the great artists that we're working with. I love to put Tony on the spot. What is a unison, Tony? Tell us.
Unison is when you have two voices singing, and they are completely matched up perfectly so that you're in time and pitch, and it sounds like one distinct voice.
Exactly. Now, later on, we're going to get a demonstration made for you all so you can hear what that's like. Right now, we're in the process of just learning, so we're not really demonstrating how well it works. We're showing you how to learn it. That way, if you're interested in the program, you've got a foot in the door, so to speak. So he's trying to create a unison, and when he's singing and trying to create that unison, it's a little hard to be, really objective or really understand. So with multi-track recording, which has been around for a while, since what, late 60s, 70s? But we didn't have this. We didn't have this these DAWs. And Audacity is very simple. It's free, so you don't have to buy it, and that works out really well for a lot of people. And you can do it on your own computer. You don't have to own a recording studio to do this. Tony and I are on more sophisticated equipment so that we can give you a good demonstration, but you don't need it at home. All right, so go ahead and record yourself singing along. I'll click the record. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go.
She's from Texas, I can tell by the way he's just stepping around the room. And judging by the smile that's written on his face.
All right, let's check that out.
It's funny. I could still feel myself hearing the song, taking just a millisecond to sort of catch it and try to keep up with her.
Right, and that's what we'll get to next. This is where the absorption really kicked in, because Tony's now noticing where he was absorbing and where he wasn't. So now he knows, hey, I've got to get back to listening to this so that I can figure out where I'm matching and where I'm not, so that I can complete my absorption work. Because that is hard. I've been through this many times. It's hard. You're like trying to play catch up. So, where was she? What'd you do that? And you can't really absorb things when you're in that state of mind. But here, so Tony's going to listen to this and see where he was on. That's the main thing we want to know. Where is the unisons? The other will obnoxiously be there. We don't have to look for it. Like, oh, damn. We'll let that happen. Just, what they say, let it roll off the duck's back, right? Because we don't care about the mistakes. We care about the correctness, because we're trying to actually create muscle memory. We don't talk too much about that because we really like to get into the emotion of this, but there is muscle memory. All right, let's listen.
She's from Texas,
I can tell by the way he's just stepping around the room.
This was the introduction, so this doesn't count.
And judging by the smile that's written on his face.
Yeah. Want to listen to it again?
I can tell.
Yeah, we got loop, so we'll use it.
The way he's just stepping around the room. And judging by the smile that's written on his face.
There were some good spots.
I can tell by the way he's just stepping around the room. And judging by the smile that's written on his face.
Yeah, that was good. You got a little Fry voice in there. His face. So, what we're working on here, everyone, is artistry, not mimicking. Mimicking is just for learning. The actual production is going to be artistry, which we'll get to after we explain this part of the practicing. So what Tony would do at this point is remove this track. He's heard it. He knows approximately where he was on and approximately where he was off. Now he's going to go back to listening. Well, you think, why not singing? Well, because, again, your own voice gets in the way. You can't hear the details that she's producing if you're singing along. So he would go back. We don't know exactly how many times he'll listen. That'll be up to him. But let's say maybe 10 times instead of 20 or 30 at the beginning. So we go back, listen, kind of say, okay, I'm absorbing. I need to absorb what Ella's doing. I need to use my ear. I need to use my musicality and absorb. If you're a beginner, you need to do even more because it'll be harder for you to catch up. But hey, if in a couple of years you're up to Tony's level because you did this right away and you were a beginner, that's great, man. Tony's not going to worry about that because he's moving up the ladder on his own. So it's not about being competitive. It's about learning and getting to be a better singer, so everybody enjoys it more and more and more. Then, of course, Tony would sing a couple of times, try to get into the matching. So what we'll do, again, we're abbreviating. So we'll let Tony listen twice and then sing twice, and then we'll record again and see how see how the absorption's working. Here you go, Tony. Absorb. Go into a meditation and absorb. Here we go.
She's from Texas, I can tell by the way he's just stepping around the room. Judging by the smile that's written on his face. She's from Texas, I can tell by the way
she's talking to people.
he's just stepping around the room. Judging by the smile that's written on his face. She's from Texas, I can tell by the way he's just stepping around the room.
Okay, Tony, you can sing a couple of times this time.
Judging by the smile that's written on his face. She's from Texas, I can tell by the way he's just stepping around the room. Judging by the smile that's written on his face. She's from Texas,
One more time.
I can tell by the way he's just stepping around the room. Judging by the smile that's written on his face.
That's great. So he's really starting to feel it now. You guys hearing it? It's coming together. Now he needs to hear it, so we're going to record it. Here we go.
She's from Texas, I can tell by the way he's just stepping around the room. Judging by the smile that's written on his face.
Yeah. All right. Let me amplify it. Funny little thing about Audacity, after you record, you have to amplify the track so that it's obvious and heard. All right. So you were a little bit loud on the last recording. Turn you down a little bit. I know you guys don't know what I'm doing. That's okay. You'll learn it. You'll learn it from the video. Here we go.
She's from Texas, I can tell by the way he's still stepping around the room. And judging by the smile that's written on his face.
That's great, Tony.
I can tell by the way he's still stepping around the room. And judging by the smile that's written on his face.
Yeah, okay. So you heard it, folks. It's demonstrated. It's better. What motivated me to do this and to do these shows is I've been doing it with private lessons, and people sometimes, how long they stay with me, they can spend thousands of dollars to get all this information. I thought, well, let's make it available to everybody around the world. I'm not available as a private coach all the time. So these demonstrations and these programs make it so everybody can figure this out. And what I like to talk about, which is really obvious now and beautiful, is that guess who your real teacher is here? Ella Langley. I'm coaching you through the process, but Ella Langley is your teacher. So you can verify, this is great DIY, do it yourself. You can verify whether you're getting it right because she's there. You bought the recording, it's there all the time. You don't have to worry about having a coach every moment of your life. She's there, or any other singer you want to learn from. We were just doing a 9 Inch Nails song the other day, and it's really artistic the way the fellow comes in. It's very low, and the guy picked it up pretty quick, the student. So had he not, if I would have been teaching him perfect rhythm and pitch, 9 Inch Nails, come on, forget it. The feel is gone. It's out the door. All right, so the next part of this evaluation is a little bit less technical, but we have to ask the question, what emotions is Ella feeling that's causing this phrasing? Because reality is this is how it works. I worked with great artists. I know how they think. I know how they work. You've got to feel it before you sing it. That's, besides, like we talked about earlier, her influences throughout her life, it's her willingness to just let emotions drive her singing that makes it so interesting. She didn't plan out, okay, I'm going to sing it this way, and now I'm going to add my emotions to it. It's the other way around. I have my emotions. I've sung this song many, many times, and now my emotions are influencing my pitch, the flat and the sharp, emotions influencing that, the behind the beat, the before the beat, influenced by the emotions. So, Tony, what are you getting out of listening to her? What emotions would you say that she's feeling?
Well, I think the story that I'm getting out of this and the feeling is that, you know, she's kind of been through similar things like this before with people that she's cared about. And it's almost like, oh God, I'm so used to this, but this still really just sucks.
Yeah.
You know, and then she's actually, the way I'm seeing it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'm actually sitting there watching this happen in front of me, and there's nothing I can do about it, no matter how I feel. And oh my God, all of these things that we did, I guess they weren't enough to keep whoever this person is to me.
See, so now here's the really deep learning. Would you change your latency a little bit at FarPlay? We're getting a little static on your side. Just raise it up a little bit. By the way, we are using FarPlay for the audio portion of the show so that we can talk over each other, so that we can have a fight. No. Zoom makes that really hard, right? So I don't use Zoom or even the audio here in StreamYard because it's just drives me crazy. I hate the phone. You know. Oh, did I hear that? Oh, what did they say? Oh, all this, you know. But with FarPlay, it's just like we're in the actual room together. And the reason I do this online rather than having Tony come to the room is because this is the way StreamYard is set up. If I have him in the room, then I can't do the separations the way I'm doing them. I've already thought about that. Okay, so now here's the real question. When Tony hears those words, now it's a little different, of course, you want to change the words to she's two-stepping around the room rather than he's two-stepping, unless you're, I mean, that's all's fair in love today. And we can expose all of it. We don't have to hide anything.
It's all good.
Yeah, so don't worry about that. But in theory, because he has a wife, lovely wife, we all love, named Madeline, he would be singing to a girl because he married one. All right, so what emotions would you feel if you were to sing this? Because that's the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have you sing with your own emotions.
I think what I am feeling, if I apply this to myself, you know, I'm feeling the confusion of why did we even invest this time together, and you're just running back to something that you already left behind to invest in this, and now I'm watching it just deteriorate regardless of what we just tried to create.
Okay, now I always go through this with everyone. The most important part, Tony, is not the story, but what you feel. What emotions does that storyline bring up in you? This is where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah, confusion, frustration,
there we go.
Loss, a little bit of anxiety of, you know, lack of control, lack of being able to have some kind of input into trying to keep it when it's already lost.
Excellent. So this time when you sing along, I'll remove. Do you want to hear some of her, or do you want me to remove her completely?
Could you pull her out, please?
Yeah, pull her out. Okay, shoot. So, hey, it's so easy. Ella, we really enjoyed you. You were a great teacher, but now we're going to move on. We're going to kick you out of the, well, no, we're going to fly out of the nest without your help. So we're going to just mute you. Sorry, Ella.
Bye.
There's so many funny things that, yeah. When you really think about what I'm doing, it gets funny. All right, so here's Tony singing that line.
Yeah, I'm going to keep the original lyrics the way they are, if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
It's all good.
I just, you know me. I can't just let things go.
I like the detail, though. I love that about you.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, here you go. So, you know, if you're joining the show late, or if you're only picking up little parts of this, you can, check it out later. It's all recorded on my YouTube channel. All right. Here's Tony singing with feel, singing from feel. Just practicing right now, not recording yet.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I just needed to find my place without the lyric.
Okay. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. That's a
Tell by the way he's still stepping around the room.
Okay, this is the part.
Judging by the smile that's written on his face.
Okay. Practice it.
Yeah.
This takes time, guys. To do it your own way, to make it feel right.
He's still stepping around the room. Judging by the smile that's written on his face.
It's different. It's not like jazz different, but it's different.
He's still stepping around the room. Judging by the smile that's written on his face.
You hear the confidence coming up? Gets stronger every time.
You know what? Can I have a tiny bit of her voice just to find it?
Yeah.
Please, thank you.
You're welcome. We can do that. And it also kind of helps to hear it in the introduction. Okay, we'll wait for... Here's the loop. All right.
Thank you. Tell by the way he's still stepping around the room, and judging by the smile that's written on his face.
Yes. Just about ready to record.
Tell by the way he's still stepping around the room, judging by the smile that's written on his face.
Yeah.
I could tell by the way he's still stepping around the room, judging by the smile that's written on his face.
See how I did that? I just took her out.
Oh, good. Okay, I didn't even notice.
Yeah, good. That's what I figured. We're mostly using her for the introduction.
I keep forgetting that.
Well, it's
Love that.
I do too. And I just wanted to point it out to you all because this is the kind of things we hear in live performances that I'm not sure why they don't do it in the studio. And some of them do. It depends on the artist. But it just, again, it brings that real personal, I'm singing to you all. I'm feeling the music. I'm enjoying the music. You know, she plays guitar and she's in the rhythm. She's in the groove. Now, I'm not talking about perfect pitch or perfect rhythm. The groove is another thing. It's just you feel that groove. The drummer has to do more on the perfect rhythm. But as singers, we get to play with it, but we have to know where the groove is. So that's what Tony's getting into now is the groove. So let's go ahead and record it without talking anymore because it'll just make his mind wander. All right. You ready, Tony?
Yes.
Oh, you want some of her voice at the beginning, though, right?
Please.
Okay, here we go.
Thank you. Tell by the way he's still stepping around the room, judging by the smile that's written on his face.
When you're recording, it doesn't loop.
You know, it's funny that little.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what she was feeling when she did it, but like you can almost feel a sarcasm in it, like, ugh, look at this.
That's what we're talking about. See, Tony's being a great student. He's getting the whole point of this. Sometimes people get confused and say, well, I don't want to sound like Ella. I don't want to be Ella. Okay, great. You know, where did Ella learn? She learned from other great artists. Maybe she didn't use this methodology, but she's talented enough and smart enough, she figured it out anyway. What we're doing now is we're exponentially going faster. Tony's learning her way of doing things within an hour. Now, of course, he can get deeper, and that's what we talk about. You know, a lot of this is you spend on your own time, right? This is not something you want to be coached through a lot. Once you understand what you're trying to do, then you kind of want to have nobody saying anything, just so you can think, you know, get the unisons, get your own emotions going. All right, let's listen to Tony's version. That was really cool. Got to amplify it. There we go. Oh, that's... I've got the wrong mute there. Okay, so we're going to mute Ella. Here we go.
Tell by the way he's two-stepping around the room, judging by the smile that's written on his face.
Let's listen again.
Tell by
Listen
the
for
way
the emotion. It's there.
he's two-stepping around the room,
He's not perfectly on pitch and perfectly on rhythm.
judging by the smile that's written on his face.
Yeah. And one of the things that I've noticed, and one of the reasons I'm very sold on private coaching, even in this situation, is because when you try to teach it in a class situation, it's impossible. So some of the universities are trying to offer that, but you're going to have a really hard time getting an artistic perspective in a group situation. All right. Did you ever go to the university at all in the music, Tony?
No, I didn't. I studied privately when I was a kid on the accordion, and then sort of stepped up. And then as far as vocals go, I went through, probably almost a dozen coaches over the last 30 or 40 years.
Wow. And what did you mostly get from them?
Some of them gave me a lot more structure as far as having to being able to find the placement, different spots of the body and controlling the pitch better as I progressed. But
that's great.
This is actually the first time that I have somebody, thank God, that's approaching it from the technical aspect and bringing in the fact that you can't hold on to that all the time. So I stopped thinking about, I have to sing this way, it has to find its placement, and just be able to sing it emotionally and feel it.
Yeah, it's kind of what I call the robot mode.
Right.
And what's really amazing about the brain, and those of us who've sung this way can attest to it, is that you're singing the words that you memorized, but you're not singing the words. Your brain is so involved in critiquing itself. Oh, was I on pitch? Oh, was I on rhythm? Do people like that? If I look at that person over there, will they like that? So all this stuff that's going on inside your head is interfering with your communication to the audience. So part of what we showed you here is, yes, there's technical things to be involved in. There's things to match. There's things in music. You can't just sing anything you want anytime you want. That would be chaos and people wouldn't buy that. But when you get to where Tony was trying to get here at the very end, you've got to let all that go and just sing what you feel. You have the tools now just emote emotions, and that's the great thing about Ella Langley and all the other artists that we've looked at. We looked at Chris Stapleton and his riff and how wild he was with that riff. I mean, it was so incredible. Just hearing that slowed down is just amazing. We're going to talk about in-ear monitors as well. In the live situations, people get into when they can't hear themselves very well because feedback is ruling how loud the singer can be, then people tend to sing really off tune. And that interferes, of course, with a lot of things. It interferes with feel and all that. And Tony's got his own in-ear monitors. And mostly what people don't like about them is that they kind of separate you from the world. But the better sound engineers out there will put stage mics on the stage so you can still hear the audience. So I highly recommend them if you're in a situation where feedback is an issue. Some of my students are just doing guitar and voice. It's not really an issue. They just stick the speakers to their right so they can hear the same speakers the audience is hearing. No big deal. And you've got Bose has anti-feedback speakers as well so that you can control that. I would say that's better than in-ear monitors if you can do it right. But if you can't hear yourself, you make sure you get those in-ear monitors. When I worked with Kevin Cronin of REO Speedwagon, and he was coming back from shows going, I don't hear myself the way I do when we're working. I got right on that, and we went to his sound stage, and I talked to the engineer, and at that time, they didn't have in-ear monitors, so we adjusted the floor monitors so he could hear himself a lot better. And he was just like, oh my God, this is so much better because now I have a voice at the end of the show and I can hear myself, and people like better. And he says, I can sing with more emotion. Getting back to that same thing, I can sing with more emotion if I can hear myself because I'm not freaking out. I'm not worried about, oh my God, what's happening? I don't know what's going on up there. So in-ear monitors, I don't recommend any particular brand because I'm not selling them, but I would recommend that you look into them, and the prices have come down a lot over the years. And if you're in a feedback situation, any in-ear monitor is better than floor monitors, even if it's like AirPods or EarPods, because you can at least hear yourself, right? And this is the key. This is why Tony and I have headphones on right now. We want to make sure we can hear ourselves. We want to make sure that we're happy with what we're doing so that we can let go of, like what we were just talking about, let go of the oh, I'm worried about this, oh, I'm worried about that, oh, is my teacher going to give me an A+? In the universities, they'll have a student come in and sing for 5 voice teachers and get rated. Right, so the singer's just in there. Oh, I hope I did that vowel right. I got that rhythm right. I hope my pitch was perfect. I hope my vibrato was 6 times per second. Blah, 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 so they can get that A+. That's fine for that, but they're not working on emotion at the same time, and you need to work on emotion at the same time. So you have technical here, emotion here, technical here, emotion here. You've got to separate them. So you're practicing emotion. Now, Tony does enough performing that he's really starting to notice the difference when he just lets emotions go. Tell us about that, Tony.
Well, I can't tell you how many times I've sung a song and don't remember the lyrics that I sang because I was so focused on whatever it was about process and theory and technique and all that. And well, there's a couple of really nice things that are coming out of what's going on now. Number one, I'm feeling more intimately connected with whatever audience I'm in front of. I'm connecting more on a personal level. They're connecting with me on a personal level. At the end of a set, there's conversations and details and personal details that are coming out during the stories after a set that were never coming out before. I'm getting hugs from people sometimes.
Whoa, making friends, huh?
Yeah, it's wonderful. Oh my God, I never heard this song sung that way before, and I appreciate it because I got to hear a different perspective, that type of thing. And from the very realistic aspect, the tips are increasing.
Yeah, and that's hard evidence. It's hard to get. Well, ticket sales are really good too, but the cash. People won't pay for things they don't really feel. They won't buy that $100 ticket. They won't buy that $500 ticket unless that artist has got emotions to offer. And now we're talking about the Sing from Feel book, and we'll talk about that a little bit more at the end of the show, but it goes into all this detail, in-ear monitors, making sure you can hear yourself, working with the sound engineers, making sure that you can feel what you're doing. You don't have to be, oh my God, I'm not sure what's going on, where's my pitch, blah, 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 blah. You got to get rid of that. And Sing from Feel book, Unleashing Your Authentic Voice, that's kind of the subtext. Unleashing your authentic voice, not just unleashing a voice, your authentic voice. Who is Tony? That's what people are saying. I want to hear Tony. And Tony's now coming out, so they're going, yeah, okay, we like Tony even more. We've heard him before, but now we like him even more, right? So the proof is in the pudding, right? So, when people are putting things out on YouTube, so much of that stuff is unprovable. So much is theory. Well, I hope the guy knows what he's talking about, Even sometimes when they do know what they're talking about, it's hard to follow, but it goes so fast, it's like, but YouTube's a great resource, and so that's why I'm using it. I think we're pretty much done. If anybody wants to put a question in the chat, so Tony can see it, and then he can tell me what it is, and I can answer it.
No questions at the moment. You know what? If you don't mind, Brad, I would like to add one other thing.
I don't mind.
I am, I'm learning to trust myself and have more confidence when I'm singing, and it's also contributing to how I move, how I express myself physically as well. It's not just that I'm singing into a mic more emotionally. Everything is changing. Everything is becoming more open. Everything is becoming not pre-planned, not puppet. It's just coming out.
No puppet?
No puppet. No strings.
I thought that was the funnest part. No. I'm being sarcastic there. Brad does not believe in puppets. And also, you got to watch your coaches, because if they're too much opinionated and they're telling you what to do all the time, that might feel very secure at first. But when you're on that stage and you're doing what your teacher taught you, people will feel that. They won't feel the genuine Ella, the genuine Tony, the genuine whoever, because they're doing what they're told. And that puts a separation between you and your audience, puts you back into thinking all the time, what am I doing? How am I doing? Am I playing the character right? Now, if you're acting, that's different because you're being somebody else. But in the art world, you've got to be you. You can't be somebody else. People won't buy that. It's said in the industry that most audiences that go out to hear artists, which is the biggest audiences in the world right now, will tell in seconds whether that person is genuine or not, and either start talking to each other and tuning that artist out or leaving. Or maybe just going off into a fantasy world somewhere. They're not interested in someone who's just playing a character. So entertainers are not doing as well as they used to. Now, here in Vegas, that's a different kind of thing, but what audiences are looking for is art. And the other thing Tony said that I hear all the time, Brad, can you help me with my stage confidence? I'm scared to get on stage. And I say yes, because we can make it so you can feel what is right, and you can go up on that stage with confidence that you know what you're doing, you know what you're emoting, you know how it's working. And that doesn't solve all the fears. If you haven't done a lot of performing, there's just, factor in front of people is bad enough. But if you're up there without any knowledge of what you're doing and how to do it, that's like a blind man walking down the street hoping a car won't run into him. I know that's a little dramatic, but it makes the point, right? Okay, so let me just summarize what we've done today and tell you guys how to get the product. One of the reasons we do this live, by the way, is so that you can ask questions, because you can leave comments and I'll get back to you, but in real time you can say, hey, Brad, what about this? And that's why we do them live. Otherwise, we could do this in the studio and just do it recorded. We don't have to worry about any of this. So we're trying to do something that you all can get a great value out of, so please take advantage. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground today, an amazing amount. Really, when you go back and listen to this thing, it's like, whoa, I'm going to have to listen to it 300 times before I even know what's going on. No, we made it simpler than that. But we've looked at the invisible rhythms in Melodyne. So that's when we were talking about, you think, well, Ella's singing and everything's perfect. But the invisible rhythms, now we've seen. We know that they exist. We are much more educated. And Tony's helped us learn the perfect unison method that we use Audacity for, so that he's absorbing what Ella is offering. We've broken down the emotional colors of the song Choose in Texas, a very powerful song. It's been a hit many, many times by different artists. But remember, these are just tools. We're just using them to demonstrate. The software doesn't make you an artist. You make you an artist. And Tony showed that. Once he got some absorption, got an idea of what was going on, he makes his own art. And he sang it differently, and I loved it. There were things in there that she didn't do that were really cool. So I call this the artistry gap. It's that space between knowing notes and feeling notes. We talked about that with the Sing from Feel concept and the book. Most people spend their whole lives trying to cross that gap with scales and exercises. Does that bring up any memories to anybody? I was one of them. I was working with the greatest voice teacher in the world, and that's all he gave me was exercises and, hit the valve this way and that. And I needed it, believe me. I don't regret that for a moment. But he didn't know or didn't teach me anything about feel, even though he worked with great artists that had it. So the fastest way across this gap is what we just showed you, absorption, the listening. Just think of absorption and listening as the same thing. It's about listening deeper, right? We're really getting deep than you ever have before. It's about being humble, right? Not being arrogant, enough to blend your voice with the greats. So Tony was very humble. We'll give him applause for being humble. He blended with her, learned something, and then created his own. It's about realizing that perfection is boring, that piano that we played. And emotion is, come on, everything. I mean, we prove that without any question. If this approach resonates with you, if you think it can help you out, if you're tired of being a good singer or a beginner and you want to move on and become a great singer and a great artist, then I would invite you to go deeper with me inside the program. I've used my 60 plus years, yes, I'm 72, nobody believes it, but it's true, of experience, the same wisdom that guided Whitesnake, REO Speedwagon, and Anita Baker earned me over 24 platinum records you can see behind me, not all of them, but they're there, and condensed it into the Vocal Muse Suite video program. And that's what we've been alluding to at the beginning. And you can find it. I'll tell you how in just a moment. And the Sing from Feel, Unleashing Your Authentic Voice ebook, so you can get it right away. In that program and book, we don't just look at one song like we did today. I give you a complete roadmap for your voice. I teach you how to master phrasing, how to control that tone color, and how to find your own, we did that with Tony, unique sound by standing on the shoulders of giants such as Ella. And what have we done? I've done about 15 of these, and it's really cool. I mean, there's a giant around every corner. So I'll teach you the mental frameworks that the pros use. I'll teach you how to produce yourself, that we did that. I'll teach you how to close the gap between what you hear in your head and what coming out of that mouth. Never seems to be the same, does it, Tony?
No, never does.
Okay, so there's a link in the description box and in the chat box. Click to check out the ebook. You know, these are what they call to action things. Gotta love them. Click to check out the video program. You'll learn more about what we did today, even if you don't buy. Don't let another year, I wouldn't go another day personally. Don't let another year go by just practicing scale. You need them. I'm not arguing that, but don't just do that. Learn the artistry. Start practicing artistry, because it's going to take a while. You're not going to be a great artist over 5 minutes. It's going to take a lot of repetition. So start practicing decision making, which is what Tony was doing as he was singing it his own way. He was making decisions about what he thought represented him well and what didn't. And when he's on his own time, he's got hours to do this, he'll really dig in and decide, hey, well, I'm going to change this, I'm going to change that. I'm going to feel this emotion because I didn't notice how sad that word was. So Choosing Texas is a sad song, but the next sad song should be yours. Use these tools. Absorb the greats. That sounded like, what is that show? No, there was some Russian guy, something the Great. Absorb sounded like his name. Sorry, guys, I can't stay on a script. And then show us who you are, like Tony showed you who he is. And hey, I'm Brad Chapman, and this has been an Artistry First breakdown. The artist first, Ella's first. Thank you for watching, and now go make some noise. All right, so we're going to say hasta la vista and hasta luego and all that kind of fun stuff. I'm going to get this off the stage so you can see our wonderful faces. It's been Tony and Brad. Tony is my favorite co-host because we have such a good time. So you'll be seeing us again, and we look forward to you coming in and chatting with us. Please leave descriptions, not descriptions, but look at the descriptions and read that, and then make comments. You know, I was so excited the other day, I got a thumbs down. Yeah, I mean, you should laugh, right? But you got to understand, when you live in the art world, when you put your opinions out there, you better get some haters, because that means you didn't. If everybody just goes, "Oh, that was wonderful," you know, thank you, then you didn't affect anybody. So when I got that thumbs down, I was like, yes, I affected that person. They understood what I was saying, and they didn't like it. You know, but luckily there was a lot more likes than us. And every artist has to worry about that. If I get 80% likes and 20% dislikes, maybe I can survive on that. But if I get 80% dislikes, I don't know if I could keep doing this, right?
That might be a problem.
So of course we want the likes, you know, but we don't want so many that it's not real, that we're not having an effect on anybody. So when you write a song and you sing it, should be some people who don't like it. And people won't tell you the truth, so you just have to go, well, okay, I'm glad some people don't like it. And hopefully in YouTube or somewhere you'll get a thumbs down and you'll be excited just like I am. All right, so thanks so much, everybody, for spending some afternoon and wherever the time zone you're in. I know this goes all around the world, and some people will be listening to this at midnight. Some people, I have a Swiss student. Well, she's actually, they don't call it Norwegian, but she's from more that area. But she lives in Switzerland, so she comes on when she can to check us out, because she's a great singer and she's been doing this a long time, and she knows how powerful this program is. She actually does hey, I like this program on my website. Her name is Ingeborg. So check that out. You all have a great day, and we will take off with this little song and this smiling face.